Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, everybody. Good afternoon. Oh, tough act to follow after Liz Kamaruddin. But Chu, thank you for reading my resume out. So if there's any headhunters there, you have my background. So when Chu mentioned prestigious, actually in PR speak, it means very old. Okay. So yes, I'm going to be 53 this year. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've heard all the doyens or the otai of the communications world in terms of their sharing and insights in terms of community and stakeholder engagement. So I thought, give you guys a little taste of how Plus engages our stakeholders, our community. So it's a bit of a bespoke flavor, so to speak. Now, one of the key things that is very, very important when we have a purpose to engage, we also need to measure. The reason being so is so we understand whether what our purpose that we put forth is actually bearing fruits at the end of the day. So my sharing would be called measuring the results through Fenceline community. I know Chu found it a bit different, Fenceline. Fenceline actually means the entire stretch of where the highway within a 30-kilometer radius, the community that lives and thrives around there are the community that Plus will look into and take care of. So I'm sure you've met, I'm introducing my Head of Community Engagement, Mashita. Mashita, wave a bit. I can see your little cute specs and nose. Yeah. So everybody, that's Mashita. So actually, she did all this. She did the Fenceline Community Impact Survey. I'm just going to tell you the story. Okay. So my team are all here. Afterwards, I'll go as quickly as possible. But what is very, very important, because this is a bespoke presentation, I would like you to understand and know who we are as Plus. Perceived notion is you pay toll. We are a boring toll operator, a behemoth, dry government entity. We have no soul. We will take every penny as we enter our highway. So that was the public perception dulu. So let's go to the next slide, Chu. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the highway of the future. As you have traveled in Plus highway and the other highways, know that Plus is a predominantly closed toll highway, and most of the intra-city highways are open toll highways, which means you pay as you enter, whereas Plus you pay as you leave, because there are multiple exit points on your travel. I think you know very well the touch and go that you've been using. Touch and go, by the way, disclaimer, does not belong to Plus, is a payment solution. They belong to CIMB, right? Now, the payment solution is now evolving to what we call the radio frequency identification tag. So that speeds up, and we are moving towards that because the government's vision is to end up with the multi-lane free flow, which Singapore already has. Okay, so that's how the highway of future is going to look at. But there's more to that in terms of technology, but today's topic is not about this. Next, please. So giving you an understanding, communication, as Liz say, works best when the leadership is aligned, when the leadership empowers the communications team. And Dato' Azman Ismail is such one leader. Together with the C-suites that we have, we are actually very privileged that they enable us to craft the narratives, they take care of the brand, we manage the reputations and the communications. Next, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, you may or may not know, but this is how long the Plus Highway is. We're almost 1,130.4 kilometers long. We also cover the West Coast. There is LPT1, but they are privately owned. You enter that through the Gombak Toll Highway. Okay, so next, please. So this gives you an indication of the vastness of the community we need to jaga or take care of, right? This visual, if you travel towards Gunung Semanggo to Penang, that is Lake Town. Okay, so we don't really see this when we're in car, but I thought I'd just show you this vista. Okay, so next time when you're traveling up past Bukit, you stop by the Bukit Semanggo R&R, and then on your way to Juru Penang, you can imagine this scene across the highway. Next, please, Chu. Okay, why major assets are important? Because it correlates to how much we allocate our funds to not only maintain and operate Plus, but to have allocations to take care of our Fenceline community, right? So we have to take care of 170 interchange, 103 toll plazas, rest areas, R&Rs is 29. We have overhead bridges. I think we all have stopped by Sungai Buloh or Air Keroh in your lifetime. There are laybys, 50 laybys, and the toll plaza laybys, we have 94. Our entire pavement is over 5,288 kilometers long. We have slopes, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know whether there are those who are young like me who remember the Bukit Lanjan, where we had a crisis where the slopes came tumbling down and we had to shut the entire expressway to repair and do the rescues. Penang Bridge, you all know, we have take care of 695 bridges throughout. Drainages and culverts, these are very, very important. Else there's flooding and nobody likes to get caught in the flood. And we have two major tunnels, the Menora Tunnel to connect up from Ipoh. And yes, so assets to us, but also cost of maintenance to us, and how we break it down to distilling the funds to help our Fenceline. Next, please. So, in a nutshell, this picture will give you a huge overview of the largeness of managing a highway operation with all the infrastructures, activities, the services that are ingrained in this DNA called Plus, right? So people ask, yeah, I pay toll mahal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is actually what you are paying for. I always akin it to paying for insurance as you travel, and that's what your toll fee is. Okay, you get the comfort of the RSAs, you get the service and the security of the Plus Ronda whenever you break down. Okay, and it's free. Next, please, Chu. So expressway monitoring is a critical factor because this also gives a view on the incidences so that we can respond in a more efficient way, not only protecting the highway customers, but protecting the surrounding, which is our community and stakeholders as well. Next. So we serve now over 1.2 million. Before COVID, it was 1.7 million. On a festive day, it can go up to 2.2 million, right? So yes, I know you all said jam, yeah. But jam, is it because of the highway or because of the cars? Good question. So we've been providing an essential transport link, and we are responsible for almost 70% of Malaysia's GDP. And this GDP, what does it do? It goes beyond supporting communities just on Plus Fenceline, but it helps the wider government and the nation to take care of other communities. Next, please. So I think Sutapa has brought this up and a lot of speakers. Plus has a brand purpose, and that brand purpose is very simplistic and it's very honest to any human being who looks at each other, is to take care of each other every step of the way to the best of our abilities. But our brand purpose is held aloft and by 5 pillars. Safety is our number one pillar, which is non-negotiable. Comfort is also a very critical pillar, where you get to enjoy hot piping food and vast varieties of dishes when you stop by at our R&R. And social impact is where we believe that we are just beyond collecting tolls, collecting money from tolls. We need to make sure that the hinterland that Plus has crashed through in its establishment and building, that we still take good care of them, all the people surrounding us. And of course, people, it also includes our Warga Plus. They are our internal community. And as Liz rightfully say, they are the reputation managers and brand ambassadors. So we do take care of them, and there's 3,800 of us. And of course, technology is one thing that enables us to facilitate our service and also engage our communities in a much more efficient way. And especially in this pandemic, we're using technology to help us connect in a more salient, contactless manner. Right? Next, please. So, comfort along the highway. We have 602 business partners throughout all those RSAs and laybys, which consists of 417 stores. 185 are commercial brands, as you can see, from Starbucks, Roasters, Dunkin' Donuts, A&W. These are the big brands. Those are the offerings. You can get your satay, your laksa, your kaifan, anything you like, right? So it's all there for you as you travel. You can take the federal route, but the federal route you might have to take an offshoot to the towns nearby for makan. Okay, next please. So we see ourselves to our community as Rakan Negara, while all of us preach the Rukun Negara, plus they endears itself as a friend of the nation. And these are our iconic people, from our business partner to our operations team, to our Plus Ronda, to our CSA, and to our traffic monitoring center personnel. These are the people, the pulse of Plus. Next, please. So we're going to our Fenceline community, as I said before, within the perimeter of 30-kilometer radius. So if somebody comes to us and they're beyond the 30-kilometer radius, that would not be under our preview. That would have to be preview of the nearby constituent, adon, or whichever local government is there. But within the plus rate parameters, we will support our community. And these are just some examples that during the pandemic, we have engaged them to offer our help. Next, please. What is true, not only to the greater world or our rakyat, but the community has been impacted. There is disruption of business. Naturally, when the control movement order came in, traffic was lower, and with lower traffic, the footfall to our R&Rs were impacted. There was disruption of business. Of course, if you have a stall and you are getting a supplier, the supply chain was interrupted. Your income is definitely reduced. Some have opted to close the business because they are not able to sustain the business, even though there were numerous support and assistance that we gave them in terms of waiver and all that, but sometimes you just can't carry on, right? For us, so far, we have told our business partner, we will support them in all this rental waiver, but you should not retrench or enable your worker to lose jobs. So that's one of the key things that Plus propagates with its business partner, right? But overall, it has weakened our nation's economy, and Plus is doing everything in its power for its community to recover, rise, and thrive back again. Next. So one of the most crucial facts that we all need to understand that throughout this 1,100 kilometer long stretch of highway during the MCO, when we were at the first phase, all right, the highway was like a ghost town, okay? But we knew the criticalness of essential transportation, food, goods, fuel, medical supplies. And because of Plus, these were able to be shipped, ferried, transported, and those that came from overseas, from the airways and the seaways, were able to be channeled to the necessary key market centers and towns and to reach the rakyat who needed it most, right? So we are a strategic asset for the nation. Next, please. So this is just some of our actions that we have done in terms of caring for the Fenceline community. We have also, during the pandemic, allocated funds, right, for the hospitals, for the Fenceline hospitals. We also contribute to the police and JPJ. Now, the vehicles and the beat officers that we donate to these authorities are not for the purpose of serving out of plus. So the JPJ vehicle and the police vehicle that have a special marking, they will only patrol on Plus Highway. So I need to clear that, because when we did the handing over ceremony, netizens were quick and say, "Oh, Plus got so much money, spending, and then the police all, JPJ all corrupt, taking free vehicles from Plus." No. You need to understand, we're giving them tools to operate more efficiently on our highway for the purpose of Plus, to protect and keep our highway customers safe. All right, next, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you all would agree of this quote: one accurate measurement is worth 1,000 opinions, because everybody on social media is an expert, opinionated person, correct? But if you ask them for accuracy and fact, elect. Okay, next, please. So what we did, or actually what Marsh did, Marsh, raise your hand again. Okay. We conducted a Fenceline community impact survey. Why? Because last year in 2020, previous years, I think June has said this, we are a huge contributor to zakat, and we get back a lot of wakalah, right? Last year, we were not allowed to agihkan, but zakat enabled us to have our portion of wakalah to be distributed directly to the asnaf, the community. What this enabled Plus is, and Marsh quickly said, haha, we have this opportunity to create a robust database of the underprivileged community and the different levels of community within Plus Fenceline. So what we have now, we have all their direct connections and contacts, and we're able to channel and funnel the contributions, the benefits directly to them. Having done that, we needed to know, hey, yes, we've done that. And also thanks to our section managers and section teams throughout the entire length of the highway to also, check and get the right people, right? Because some people in terms of contribution might use their relative's name who's under B40, but they may not be B40, but they get the funds. So corporate governance and integrity is a very important part where we do in terms of CSR and community engagement. So basically, this is how the format of the impact survey. So measurement is important. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, there is no hard and fast rule. There is no set template of how you should do your Fenceline. As you see what Liz has said in terms of issue, you need to identify also bespoke, specific issues or questions that you want to ask your community to get the answers that you're actually looking for. So it has to be tailor-made to the community you're engaging. And I'm sure the community who you engage and the stakeholders who you are dealing with, you know precisely their hot buttons and where they're actually coming from. So you can actually craft and curate your survey to address all those issues that are coming from them. Okay, next please. It's 3:20. My time is 3:30, like Rinesh. So, okay, another quote. Measurement is the first step that leads to control and eventually to improvement, which is very precise statement, right? If we do not measure, we do not know whether we are hitting the goal correctly or we are missing the point, and therefore the entire purpose is flawed. Next, please. So the survey we did out, we took a 20% from the entire universe, which is 1,198 community, Fenceline community that was interviewed. So the results were that they 92% agreed that the financial assistance that we gave them during the pandemic was very, very helpful. And food supply was used by 79%. And over 93% found that cash was one of the most suitable form. And more than 73% agreed that the amount, the quantum that we gave was sufficient for them during this period, right? So this gives us an insight, what else can we do for this year? And we have come to that. And also in terms of how we strategize, that was, we needed to assess the impact that we have, and so that the results, we are able to create a benchmark, and then we can determine the direction of our social responsibility initiatives. And one of the key things that Dato Azman always likes us to do is not doing CSR for the sake of, I'm doing as a good corporate citizen now, see that, and get the media to cover, I take it on a KPI. No. Dato Azman and the management wants us to continuously re-engage. He calls it Ambil Peduli. That means you care genuinely for your community. It's just like you care for your neighbor. Ask, sudah makan ke? How was your day and all that. So these little things matter. It's from the heart, right? It's not a arm's length away, I've done my duty and that's it, right? You become like those music one-hit wonders, right? You need to have stamina and sustainability in your stakeholder and community engagement initiatives and drives. And the only way you can continue to do that successfully is to have a genuine concern for the community themselves. All right? Next, please. So, simple. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. It's just like a target, right? If I tell Iskandar used to be our Ronaldo or plus, right? So I say, shoot the goal. But if there's no goal post, where is he going to shoot? That goal post is a measurement of the zone of success, right? Hi, Rofina. I see Rofina there. She looks so sweet today. Rofina is our content and storyteller. All right. Next, please. I'm going to share this. This is the very first video. This video existed before I even joined Plus, but it's a story about how Plus came to be.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a video through VLC. So
yeah. So we hope the bandwidth will carry it. Ladies and gentlemen, bear with us.
Okay, so I'll play the video now.
All right, I'm going to stop my video and mute first, so save the bandwidth.
Chiu, you need to share.
There's no audio.
Yeah, you need to share optimize for audio.
Okay, sorry. Let me just do it again. Okay.
When you try to share, there will be an option for optimize our audio, optimize video and audio.
Motion and video audio.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me just do that again. I apologize. Okay. That's one more time. Is that okay? Is that okay?
I appreciate everybody to put their volume to full.
Could we do?
You need to minimize your box there.
Build a highway across the land. Through hills and mountains. Solid rock. Soft soil terrain. It It was ambitious, but visionary. The largest infrastructure and engineering project our young nation has ever seen. From one end to the other. Through cities, towns and villages. Across rivers. Through forests. Over undulating ground. Why? Because it connects us. To bridge our divides. So we can reach the ones we love and achieve our dreams and our fullest potential. Because one highway unites us all. Was it possible?
Sorry.
Could we do it?
Okay, thanks, Chu, for that. So one highway unites us all, and suddenly now there are 29 highways, ladies and gentlemen. There are 29 highway concessionaires. Correct me if I'm wrong, Iskandar, betul lah? In total. Right? So, yeah. So when people say, hey, plus monopoly, hello, we're one of the 29. Okay, so that puts our perspective. Chu, I have two last slides, right?
Yes.
Just on that. So technically, my preso is done, but just to show these two last slides because it's nice.
Okay. So, all right. So, okay, is there any? Okay, so thank you very much, Syed, for the lovely presentation and lovely video. All right. So now we are off to the Q&A session. So, is there any question on the floor that you can ask Mr. Syed? No, this might be the only chance you can talk to him and ask a question, huh?
No lah, got more chance, but I prefer to take the questions here. My team is also here to answer the question. So
oh wow, well prepared. So okay.
Yeah.
So any question, you can leave the question in the chat, no worries. And just open your mic and speak out if you have any question.
Yeah, I was quite interested to ask our friends from Sarawak because the highway that we manage is only in Semenanjung. So, you know, in terms of Sarawak, there are highways coming out. And how do you think that the highway concessionaire there is doing with the community? Because Sarawak and Sabah, the native community is very segmentized. There's very banyak dia punya kaum, and how do they manage it? So I'm asking the question pula. Any of our Sarawak tourism friends can answer, share?
Before that, can I ask a question?
Yes, may I know who is asking the question?
Sorry, it's Ras. It's me again.
Ras. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Ras. Hi. Ras, actually, where are you from? You look so familiar.
I'm from Sapura OMV.
Sapura.
No, Sapura OMV. So we are a 50-50 JV with Sapura Energy and OMV from Australia.
Okay. All right. Yes,
okay.
Ras.
My question is, you talk about engagement and measurement. So what do you use as your measurement tool to engage your Fenceline community? Thanks.
Okay. First, our Fenceline community, when I came in, is pretty established, right? The Fenceline community impact survey was something that Mashita thought that since we were cut off from face-to-face engagement with the community, because prior to that in 2019, kita turun padang, right? And we had the support and assistance of our section managers. So the section manager are considered orang there lah, right? So they're on the ground. So they know the community. So they were our door or gateway into those communities. So, but after being shut off due to the pandemic, we knew we could still reach out to them and provide the financial assistance. But and since we got their direct contact and data, We wanted to find out the recipients, did they benefit? So that's why we came up with this survey lah. So we curated the questions to find out, and actually the original set of questions did not actually adhere to what we were trying to find out. So the team and I, we actually sat down, we distilled, edited, and we said, what's the purpose? What do we really find out? We really want to find out, whether the money reached them honestly, right? Masuk the tangan. B, what did they use the money for? Right? Because some might say, I don't want money, I want barang dapur kering. Right? They want those things to be sent to them. Right? So we want to establish what was it, and then because we know that the Fenceline community is also very wide, and as our previous live engagement, they're quite mendalam, even though 30-kilometer radius, it can be quite interiorized, right? So we wanted to know whether from that point, they felt what we were doing berbaloi or made sense to them, benefited them. So that line of survey questionnaire was tailored to them. And yes, we also, of course, had some challenges that there was some database that they don't have the gadget. So we relied on our ground team, which is the section managers and the executives, to mengadap, to go and see those people there, right? And that one was manual survey lah. So based on our questions. So it was very structured, and because we have over 7,000 plus punya database, and it was a short period that we wanted to find this out. So we said, okay, we would take a sample of 20%, right? Throughout North, Central, South, and also East Coast kita buat tak, Mash? Ada kan? Or just plus je? Okay, Mash punya speaker, what? But anyway, having said that, that's why the results. So where I'm coming from is, I think measurement, we individually within our confines in who we are dealing with, we can set the questions. And I think now there's so many tools on social media like Survey Monkeys and all that. It's very easy to reach. And I also qualify that even though there are orang kata apa, pendalaman, but amazingly, a lot of people still have gadget and Android phones, right? It's those very, very old school yang still using the Nokia GSM phone, right? So amazingly, yeah, and they know how to download the apps, because one thing we found out, I think a lot of makcik pun they beli barang on Lazada, Shopee, so there goes, right? So yes, I hope that answers your question. I think what it really takes from the start is for the team to sit down and say, what's the purpose of this survey? What do we really want to extract from our stakeholder? Or what issues do we think that may be bugging or may be infesting with our stakeholders, right? And if we have something that we've put out and we want to see whether what we put out to really is worth the while, really is beneficial on both ends, then we sit down and think, okay, what is the question that we want to ask them in terms of benefits? Right?
Tuan Syed,
yeah.
Do you conduct this survey annually, or how do you go about it?
We're starting to conduct it annually, right?
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. In fact, what I told Marsh is, after we've done this first one, since we have that, we've taken 20%, we try not to repeat it for this year. We get another patch of 20% and then follow. Yeah. But along the line, our engagement of the Ambil Peduli will still be there. So even though yang dah terima from last year, we will still go and ask, apa khabar, do you still need anything? Right? So within whatever coffers that we can afford, we will look at how we agihkan this, right? So my other message to all the highway customers who are paying toll, please know that your contribution also goes back to all these people on the fence line, or predominantly B40s.
Just a following question. Is 20% enough you doing a 20% survey.
yeah.
Is that a good number?
We go on a Pareto principle, 80-20. I think also you need to be realistic in terms of the universe of your stakeholders and very cognizant of the fact of your resources in terms of time and human resources. So we had a timeline because as everybody's talking about ESG, we came out with a sustainability report lah. So one of the components was to have that measured to be reported in that report, right? So that's why we activated that. So whether it is sufficient, I think it's sufficient for now. But if we have a wider scope and wider capabilities, of course, as they said lah, the more you measure, the more you get the accuracy lah. But we also need to be realistic lah. But for us, I think within the domain and volume, 20% does its job. Because we also must make sure we went to the entire expense in terms of age group and all that. I think if you see the slides, there's also the demographic breakdown, and we make sure it was a good spread to our entire length of not only the North-South Expressway, but also in the small portion of LPT2 in Terengganu. So it became reflective of the population there.
And your survey and your Fenceline community, it is only in Peninsular Malaysia?
Yes,
or...
yes.
I see. All right.
It's only because this is where we operate, right? Because if I go to Sabah, Sarawak, how do you think I'm plus? Saya tak biasa. Yeah.
Okay,
But I
thank
think
you.
that the new Pan-Borneo Highway, the team should consider doing that. But I found out from a friend, they only have one person in comms. And it's quite a massive highway actually for the Pan-Borneo Highway. Any other questions? Don't be shy. I don't bite. I'm on the camera anyway.
Salam Tuan Syed, Siti here.
ICT, yes, my HSR.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
How do you actually select the receiver? Do you screen
Okay.
the application?
Yes,
or
we do. We do due diligence. First and
Okay.
foremost, we have two sort of agihan, right?
Mhm.
One is from our zakat. One is from our wakala zakat. One is a fund that under our CCPE department, where we ask the board to give us in terms of CSR, donation, and sponsorship. So the three funds.
Mhm.
So for this time, last year, when we were cut off, dulu, zakat, I think it's June, still around June. Then we will go to all the states and present the checks to.
Yes, I'm here.
So we present the checks to the Sultan and whoever lah, the gift Muhammad. So that was the traditional way of us doing zakat. And of course, when we got the wakala back in zakat, because I think June will attest to that, the volume, right?
Yeah, true.
Then we will use the wakala back because we also give zakat to our own staff. Our 3,008. So we do open up that those who are eligible will get zakat, right? This year also. Every year we're doing. So actually, Iskandar, our zakat for our staff is how many? 100 million already, right? Over the past 30 years. Last time we reported. Just the staff.
About close to 100. It's actually 96 million.
96 million. Yeah. So yes. So Siti, you're right. We for the yang bukan staff, of course staff pun kita kena do due diligence, right, to confirm that they really the need, right? So the section manager will of course know lah who they are and all that. We have a very stringent integrity and corporate governance punya structure in class. So for the external one, yang asnaf dulu, it goes to the Pusat Pengurusan Zakat of the states. But now because we have the database and Mash has created with the team, our section managers goes and verify. So there's forms to fill. There's declarations to be met. We will cross-check in terms of dia punya background and all that. Ada juga gambar-gambar kan Mash that we take and the Fenceline take. And all these names are also double verified because they are the one that pusat zakat yang bagi us, allow us to go direct to them. So we have few tiers already. So Pusat Zakat is a bona fide body that gives us the contact. On ground, our section managers will go and visit them to see them, and then with they will have to submit their IC, their bank account number, and all that. So that is double confirmed and verified. We're actually giving to the right people. And of course, our Abid Peduli again, we will revisit again and ask them how they're doing, and if there's anything else they need, what else we can help. So it's a continuous, seamless initiative that is bukan sekali beri and it doesn't mean that we give this year, then next year you don't get, we go to another. No. We look at the entirety of the fence line throughout PLAS, and there are even some recipients say, okay, these are really honest ones. We try and give something where we can.
Okay, another question is, do you also collaborate with other NGOs or even ADUN at each area?
Have we, Mash? We know that a lot of ADUN were through our section manager ask for donation. But I think your question is more aligned to your stakeholder advocacy.
Yeah.
Does the ADUN become a thorn, the backside, the question, or is going to be a boon to my HSR punya development on their fence line? Whether they will be an advocate and supporter, or whether they can go and kacau and then suddenly get all the kampung people to raise flags and all that. You need to have the engagement, right? But as PLAS, even though we're government linked, we have an arm's length, and thanks to our integrity and corporate governance structure, we have arm's length from all these politicians. It has to come in proper channel, right? And we will review it and we will do the due diligence. So if an ADUN comes and say, I want for this sekolah anak yatim, blah, 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 we'll say, thank you. We do the research work, the background work. We go to the sekolah anak yatim, talk to the pengetua, get them to confirm they really need it and they're within our fence line, then we do what is right. Because just to clarify, beyond the fence line, we also have a board, right? And governance. If we give beyond the fence line, then we might as well give to Sarawak also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then where does it end? Where does it stop? Right?
Yeah. How do you determine the 30 km radius? Is that
Is okay. Very good question. I pun tak tanya that. I just took it as that. But Mash and maybe Iskandar, because they've been in PLAS for 25 years, so they can help me answer that. I baru 2 tahun.
Okay,
how do you determine the 30 km, Iskandar?
It's basically the guideline from UEM, because it's actually to determine the reach of the highway to the communities lah. We have
okay.
Kan, ada boundary lah. Kalau tidak nanti we will go as far as 100 kilometers. So,
correct. Yeah.
It's not feasible lah. So, 30 kilometers is ni lah. Even at our RSA, all the stakeholder, all our business partners come from within the 330 kilometers radius.
Okay, understood. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Next question, Kamisa. Ada soalan?
Yeah, Siti here from Perak. I'm being Perak.
Yes, our beloved state. We are doing a lot of things with your state.
Thank you. Just curious, in terms of your measurement, do you have different measurement for different initiative, and how do you determine which initiative you want to measure?
Okay. Different, I think in terms of where community and stakeholder punya impact, right, on contribution, yes, it is one particular measurement, right, where Iskandar is doing in terms of plotting down this stakeholder matrix for the government advocacy punya framework. There are pre-established matrices. Not matrix, dia punya definition. So for example, we have a plot of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kan. We use the power influence matrix. But you know, power influence matrix is generic, kan? But in terms of the plotting the priority 5 to the lower priority 1, the descriptor 2 is decided and defined by plus. So like number 5, power and influence has a statement that says that technically if this stakeholder at this number 5, if we don't manage closely and jaga, our concessionaire agreement can bungkus and we can close shop and go and jual pisang goreng, something like that, right? So okay, the state of Perak state also is one of our government stakeholder lah. So we have that, and it also goes multi-tier as Liz tadi kata kan. Kita punya the state Perak state punya JKR, the engineering, perkhidmatan, the waters. So these are different tiers within the state government. So your Menteri Besar is one, your pengarah for infrastructure is another one. Then there's also the safety. Then there's also Perak tourism, because our highway is also a conduit for tourism traffic, kan? So all these multi-things, then we have to plot it. So how we plot it, how we identify the gravity of the issue is Iskandar and the team engages kita punya operations, kita punya commercial, kita punya traffic safety punya team who engages those government stakeholders that contact and say, okay, I jumpa katakan sekarang, I am commercial, but under commercial, I have retail land operations. Retail land operation is now talking to business of Lembaga Lebuh Raya, Pengarah Lebuh Raya, because there is certain issues with regards to some of the business partner punya business. So then within Lembaga Lebuh Raya, commercial may have in terms of the that one was on business partner, but then on land issue maybe the pengarah of tanah kan, or infrastructure for LLM, because there is one part of the R&R, ada orang nak buka another petrol station, right? Then if that R&R dekat Tapah Perak, then the state government say, okay, this person is one of our Bumi Putra entrepreneur, and we would like you to help. They're looking for the opportunity in Tapah, can plus help. So you see the matrices of stakeholder engagement, while it looks complicated, once you pull the issues apart, you identify the issue is the clarity, right? The connector of the critical personnel is where you need to have that message lah, right? So I think Iskandar and I and the team also found out, because as Iskandar said, after going through last year, this year punya plan, management said, my department will have this new unit called Stakeholder and Government Advocacy. So we're building it actually at the moment. So it's quite fresh and quite timely that this webinar is having. So we're sharing also our newfound experience. So through the process, Iskandar has found out for Plus, we have to engage 584 ministry and government agencies. And within that 584 government agencies, our 60 internal stakeholders have to engage 384 external stakeholders. So can you imagine there's going to be multiple power influence matrices for different government agencies, for different work streams within those agencies. So what do? We look at what are the prevailing issues, and Liz has given the clarity. We look at the top 5, then the second 5, right? So this is how we will structure it. Yeah. If Perak wants to have a conversation, we are happy to drive up. Any other questions? I know it's almost going to be 4 o'clock, and if those who are working from office don't want to be caught in the jam.
I guess if that's the case, then